Notice something different? I bought this, was that $60. Well, the base costs more than the damn shade. I mean, the umbrella. But I gotta. It works, but then when it really catches the wind, even if you tighten it down, I don't know if you tighten it down too much, if it'll break the pole or what. When the wind catches it. But ironically, I happen to have the perfect tool to tighten it. I mean, it fits perfectly. Yeah, regular. See how it lifted like it was made for it. I mean, all right, this one I'm just gonna say real quick, just really since the Democrats just won't give up, it's just stupid shit. I mean, how is Jamie? Like I said, I started calling him Jamie RatSkin. How is he gonna sit there and call people, other countries that work, that 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 take off their tariffs on America? He's gonna. This, you can't even comprehend what that is like. Mind boggling, right? Remember that mind boggling? What movie was that? It's mind boggling. It's mind boggling. You know, you can't come. That is literally like. See, I can't even come up with a good analogy. All right, say you got a brother, you and your brother. Maybe y'all went into business, or your dad had a business, and now y'all, he might still be alive. Say he's retired, but y'all running it good. But your brother goes to your competitors and says, "I, if you work with my brother and stop cheating us, I won't forget it." That's basically what Jamie RatSkin is saying. We are brothers. He's definitely not in America. He's a traitor, but he's saying it's like that, right? It is. It's like, or maybe you don't have to be brothers. It's just maybe you done made it up in the ranks in your corporation, and you go and publicly say. So you gotta say, yeah, say you got a new CEO, and you go publicly say to the people he's cleaning up house. He's like, no, these contracts, he's right. All he had to do was just get a outside accountant, and yeah, that's basically what Elon is doing, outside accountant, and he's right, and he's fixing it. And so you go as a CEO or executive rather, kind of and go tell if you work with the new CEO, our new CEO, and the people are like, okay, yeah, you got us. We knew we've been cheating you, right? Yeah, they're admitting, yeah, and really the new CEO is like, okay, we still do business, but no more cheat. Okay, they're like, okay, no more cheating. That was them having tariffs on us, and none of us. But like we know, the Democrats and career rhinos were getting kickbacks for that shit. And so Jamie Ratskin is saying, if you stop cheating us, we won't forget. How do you even fix your mouth to say something that stupid? I know he's gonna try to peel it off and talk about freedom and that illegal alien from El Salvador, the MS-13, whatever the hell. No, all that stupid shit. It's like, no. Basically, what you're saying, you're making a threat to countries that say, okay, yeah, we're gonna take the tariffs off, and you're telling them if you take the tariffs off, I don't care what you say. That's what he's saying. we aren't going to work. We will remember, but first of all, y'all are never coming back in power again.
Senior ranking Democrat Jamie RatSkin is already planning vengeance on any foreign leaders and government.
This shit still be on. What the hell going on? Cut off.
Willing to work with the Trump
Oh, now you can.
administration. If
I done turn this off.
Back to power, and we will. We are not.
Senior ranking Democrat Jamie RatSkin is Senior ranking Democrat Jamie RatSkin is already planning vengeance on any foreign leaders and governments willing to work with the Trump administration.
If and when we come back to power, and we will, we are not going to look kindly upon people who facilitated, to use a word of the day, who facilitated authoritarianism in our country. That's an assault on our Constitution and on our people.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a threat that subtle since Biden told coal miners to learn to code. I think there's a word for coordinating with foreign entities to undermine your own government. It starts with the T and rhymes with reason. RatSkin says they'll punish anyone who worked with Trump. Bold words from a guy whose hair looks like it lost a custody battle with a leaf blower.
Please like, comment, and subscribe.
But not only
Senior
that,
ranking Democrat Jamie
it's like another thing. Most people don't like traitors. Even your enemy, they might use you. Just like Benedict Arnold, really, in history, in real life, once he went to the Redcoats, the British, they didn't like him either because it's like, why would you want a bitter dude, you know, even though supposedly, it says he did win some, he was, but he got passed over and he got bitter about it. So, it's like it's like being a traitor, they ain't gonna like you, RatSkin. Yeah, you're a rat. You try to jump ship. It's like being in the gang. I remember in my high school, you can't, switch colors. All of a sudden you a blood or something. You was a Crip. It's like no, ain't nobody. Nobody's gonna. Now you got nobody. RatSkin. The people. They get, even though the jokes, but they how they doing on Twitter. Ratatouille. But yeah, it's like, but see, I already know what's really going on. His masters, they pull it. Yeah, he ain't got no choice. He got to say they something is there. There's no way he's that damn retarded. It's stupid. Somebody is like, them pictures we got of you, this and that at the Puffy party, the Epstein Island. Yeah, you better say it. And they just say it like that. You notice all these crazy. They keep coming out saying stuff that makes zero sense. It is like we said, how that like literally what he's saying, RatSkin is saying, is literally like I said. If you get a new CEO and you've been an executive for a long time, and the older CEO is gone, and y'all, I guess, let people cheat the company because y'all been stealing. But the other companies who've been doing business with you cheating, they're all like, okay, yeah, you got us. All right. But the new CEO is like, we're not gonna cut off doing business, just no more cheating. Okay, all right. That's the tariffs. No more tariffs on us. They had tariffs on us first, and you see all the rest of the countries came to the table, except for China, and they're all mad because China. They trying to act like China's standing up to. I don't know why. That's another stupid lie. And the Chinese people are getting mad at Xi for not just taking the tariffs off America because they're suffering like and even they are saying that China started it. And it's not, Trump being a bully. They start trying to spread that lie. Oh, Trump is trying to bully people. It's like, no, everybody knows the truth.
Shoppers want to spend less, go to.
Oh, wait a minute. Now, yeah.
Why would I use kayak?
This video is an hour old. Yeah, there's this channel right here be telling. I'm surprised YouTube let this shit go out.
There are hundreds of travel sites at once.
There is only one more week left of Temu's full management in the US. If you don't believe it, come argue with me.
特步的销量下滑了30%。
Temu's sales have dropped by 30%, and Google has suspended their ads.
Oh, that's good. I got tired of them Temu ads. They were everywhere, all over there.
Many products are being dumped at low prices, trying to clear stock before May the 2nd. So some product sales are definitely impacted. Secondly, lately Americans have been stocking up on essentials, like small home appliances from China, and even a box of eggs is being sold for $5. So non-essential items aren't being bought urgently. The third and most important point is that Temu's ads were taken down on Google, which has had a huge impact. Before, nearly half of Temu's sales came from Google search. Now that the ads are down, it's likely that the impact will
Button from Google search, y'all were goddamn forcing them ads on us every other video. Temu. And then the ads like that. Ads right here. Okay, yeah, they would always be Temu. Now they switched to whatever. Marvel. But it was always a Temu ad right under the video.
which has affected Chinese e-commerce platform Temu, a subsidiary of Pinduoduo. T86 is a classification under Section 321 of the 1930 Tariff Act by U.S.
Oh, the helicopter's flying. Now they can't see me because I got my umbrella. Sound like they flying low. They mad because I got an umbrella. Yeah, see, that ain't real. Yeah, I got them. They looking for me. See, I'm telling you, I'm not paranoid. They're mad. He got the umbrella. So yeah, they had to fly that way so they could see under the umbrella. Like I said, hold up, this thing, it's some cheap China shit. I didn't know it before I ordered it. I just got it last week. But the problem is, it swings no matter how. Yeah, I got this shit almost all the way in there. That's what I'm saying. You keep tightening it, it's gonna break. And then I think all the reviews said if you just got to keep tight. But and this just happened. A nutcracker just happened to literally fit perfectly. Like it lines up with the two. I just happen to have it. But we'll see if the wind catches it. And then, because it will, like they said, it will start blow. It'll blow all the way over there. Or
value items typically worth under $800 from tariffs. The exemption aims to simplify the import process, benefiting cross-border e-commerce by speeding up customs clearance, reducing cost, and improving efficiency. On April 9, President Trump signed an executive order that starting May 2nd permanently ends the tariff exemption for small parcels from China and Hong Kong valued under $800. Also known as a de minimis exemption, the tariff rate on these parcels will rise as high as 120%. The tax rate for parcels from China and Hong Kong will triple, increasing from 30% to 90% of the goods value. Importers will now need to pay a tariff of 90% of the goods value, or $75, which will increase to $150 after June 1st. In response, China has taken countermeasures, causing Trump to significantly raise the tariff rates. From May 2nd to June 1st, the cost of postal parcels entering the US will rise to $100 per item, and after June 1st, the cost will increase to $200 per item instead of the previously announced.
but anyway, yeah. The bottom line is we already knew they couldn't. They need us, and nobody really wants. Like I said, this. Oh, you Americans, you the one that wanted the cheap, Chinese products. It's like, not really. I'd rather have quality shit that doesn't blow with the wind. So, but some of the reviews they try to find a way, cause yeah, that is all the way in there. The screws won't even turn no more, and it's still turning. I think. Well, let's see what they talking about with Letitia James. Why she not arrested already?
50% off any pizza, including new Parmesan stuffed crust?
And we are back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like
There's
button.
another one. Yeah, they keep talking about Target, and there's some people. Yeah, I'm not for. They're like, I'm not for lawfare, but she needs it. It's like, first of all, everybody's like, first of all, she committed crimes, real crimes. Lawfare is making up fake charges. That's lawfare. She committed crimes. She literally, like I said, she boarded. I seen on another video in '83 in Queens. So matter of fact, I was still in Queens in '83. So now I'm wondering, like, I wonder if she knew, if some of my people knew her, but her family or whatever. But anyway, yeah, like I said, cause like it's like that in Birmingham. I think I don't know if it's by state or I thought it was Fannie Mae or whatever, but a fourplex and below, so a duplex or a triplex. And like in 2005, when I was trying to get one, yeah, you get a regular that you don't have to get a commercial loan for four. But she got a five apartment building with five apartments in it. But she said it was all these decades she'd been saying it was a fourplex. And it's like she's supposed to have got a commercial loan because yeah, it was way cheaper to get. Like I said, so back then in Birmingham, you could have got a fourplex for 140,000 with a 30-year loan, and if your credit was good, that's like $400 a month, 500. And depending on what area, back in 2005, you can get about 400 a piece, 450, 500. Depending on whatever. And that's still $2,000, and your mortgage was only like 500. You could double up, pay off it, and then own it in 10 years or less. Because back then, 2000, I was only 30, so you could be adding money. You can add your own money, pay that shit off fast hell, and buy more houses. Because when I found out that a quadplex and below still qualifies as a single family home, like it's just a regular old house. But I never even thought of like getting 5 apartments, a fiveplex or whatever that's what it's called. I would have never even thought of that shit. But that sounds like something New York niggas would do, But if she wouldn't have went after Trump, she would have got away with it. It is not that like revenge. It's like you cause people to look into your mind that this was stupid, plain and simple. But like I said, she didn't do it on her own. She was told to do it. She had to do it.
My people, you know that it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us. Now, y'all, you know that your girl, we talking about your girl here, right? Your girl, Letitia James, you know that she has been facing now a whole slew of allegations that she committed mortgage fraud over several decades, going all the way back to, I think, the 80s, when she may have claimed on a mortgage document that her father was actually her husband or that they were married, maybe to get be able to do the loan, maybe to get a better rate. There's just so many moving parts with this. It is wild, y'all. And of course, let me remind you that she went after Donald Trump for misstatements on mortgage applications or loan applications as well. So you already know that this is wild. But now the latest on this whole saga, which now I'm starting to see, y'all, this saga is going to drag out. Okay, so this is not going to be one of those things where these allegations pop up. She gives a swift explanation and then things are all swept under the rug and done. No, this is going to be a long drawn out saga. So, hold on to your seats. The most recent development is that there are allegations that not only did Letitia James commit mortgage fraud, but that in the process, she also committed insurance fraud. So we're going to get to that in just 1 second. First, we're going to take a look at what Byron Donalds has to say about all of this. Of course, he is a rising star on the Republican side. He, I believe, will be running for governor for Florida soon. Let's take a look at what Byron Donalds has to say about this entire kerfuffle.
On Valentine's Day a year ago, roses are red, violets are blue. No one's above the law, even when you think the rules don't apply to you. Happy Valentine's Day. She, of course, referring to Donald Trump. Our next guest using that tweet against her. No one is above the law, even Letitia James. Florida Congressman and Florida gubernatorial candidate Byron Donalds is with us. Congressman, it's great to see you. Pretty ironic. Karma, payback, revenge, all of them apply here. Do you think the DOJ actually charges her?
Well, look, if it's clear that she violated the law and she was committing mortgage fraud, not to mention, as I understand it, if you're going to be the New York Attorney General, how are you claiming that you live in another state? That just doesn't work. And so if all these things pan out to be true, she should be charged. She was quick to charge Donald Trump, saying that he put fraudulent information on a loan application. Well, that's what she's accused of doing right now. And She also accused Donald Trump of saying that Mar-a-Lago is worth $18 million. I mean, we all know that was just stupid and a lie. So if they go through their investigation and they find evidence, probable cause, that she was committing mortgage fraud for her own benefit, of course she should be charged. That's the way our system of justice works.
It all happened in 2023. So that's when she falsified these records, allegedly. And that was the same year she put Donald Trump on trial. Do you have any concerns about her being married to her father? Is that something we need to look into?
Listen, I think everybody's got concerns about that one. That's just not something that everybody thinks is cool. I don't. It's just weird, to quote a former person running for the vice presidency that we won't talk about. But look, at the end of the day, this is what happens. You have these officials who want to go on these witch hunts while at the same time they're doing dirt behind the shadows. In the shadows. It's simply wrong. She should be held accountable like anybody else.
So now those allegations of insurance fraud. This is from Gateway Pundit. This website has been on the forefront of breaking down all of these mortgage allegations and is reporting on potential insurance fraud as well. Now, where would the insurance fraud come from? According to Gateway Pundit and to my own background, I can say that this makes a lot of sense. It says here, firstly, this regards James's claim of residence for a home mortgage in Norfolk, Virginia. Whether a home is owner occupied or not plays a significant role in how insurance companies determine rates for homeowners insurance. Owner occupied homes, the primary residence in which the homeowner actually lives, are typically considered lower risk by insurers. They believe that these homes are better and regularly maintained and monitored, and that issues like water damage, fire, or theft are more likely to be caught early or prevented altogether. As a result, insurance premiums for owner occupied homes are generally lower. In contrast, non owner occupied homes, such as rental properties, vacation homes, or vacant houses, pose a higher risk and usually come with higher premiums. For rental properties, landlords need specialized insurance, also often called DP3 policies, that covers dwelling liability and potential loss of rental income. So, as you can see where this is going, if you are claiming that you are going to owner occupy a rental property, one that's we can say fraud, right? Because you're the benefit to you is you get the owner occupied insurance rate, which is going to be a lower rate usually.
I mean, yeah, that would be like if I bought this building, and at first I would stay here until I, had money. I'm just saying, as an example, you would stay here. That's owner occupied, right? And you're gonna stay here one because they're all your tenants is paying the mortgage and you're not paying, and but then when you get more buildings, you can move out, to the house that you want, whatever, or the mansion or the mini mansion, the Mick mansion, or your condo, whatever. But at first, you would stay here. Then you can get the whole thing, 100, hopefully 100% occupied, every apartment. But that's another thing to owner occupied. But really, what I'm about to say is, they again sounds like some New York shit. Just put down that you stay there. That's all. They ain't gonna come check. And they're not, right? They not. But that stuff like people like us, we just wouldn't even think about doing. I never even thought. Just like I said, if I'm not in there, if I'm in there, I'm gonna just try to find the cheapest rate. I'm gonna just call around. And owner occupied, nope. And actually, I'd be happy. It's kind of like a brag, kind of like, nah. I got my own house. This is my rental properties. I would, but them type of people, they trying to cheat everything and accuse other people of doing what they. It's like they can't understand that we just don't do that. Like I said, you want them. It's like a video game. I tried to explain. They don't understand. You playing Madden. I want to cheat you. I want to beat you for real. Yeah, I beat the shit out of you, nigga. Yeah, yada yada yada. You can't fuck with me. But that's it. If you lose, you gotta, go back and practice. Find some new moves. Read a book. Oh damn, okay, do this. Let me try these plays. But they, like I said, always trying to get over. And they thought everybody was like them. They really did. That's why they spy on me. That's why they got so mad. Then they gotta lie. They're like, well, that's part of it. They knew that. Karl Marx knew that. You have to lie. He knew people like us. You gotta lie on us. The cellular, he can't understand it, and they can't understand it. I don't understand it either. I just don't like that shit. I just can't do it. Right? Like in school, if I couldn't cheat, I wouldn't. Not if I couldn't cheat, I didn't want to cheat. What I'm saying is, so if I couldn't get a good grade on my own, yeah, I was like, fuck it, right? Yeah, like try to study. Oh, let me try to study like everybody else. That shit ain't working. You know what? Fuck it then. That's it. I just never. I thought about that. It's like, damn, the whole time I never cheated. I assumed there was other people cheating. I never, got oh, remember grade school? Yeah, get the answers. Middle school, get the answers to the test. Whatever. Trying to study that shit ain't work. Trying to remember that shit. But anyway,
usually than if you were to take out an insurance policy for that same dwelling, that same property, but as a rental property. And so this could also go for James's claim of only 4 units in her apartment building in Brooklyn. Insurance policies for apartment buildings vary significantly based on the number of units, with a major distinction occurring between buildings with 4 or fewer units and those with 5 or more. So if she takes out an insurance policy for a dwelling or a building.
Let me see this wind if it stand up to. Hell, I'm gonna figure something out. But right now it ain't moving. But I guess after a while it start getting loose. Cause like the other day that shit swing way over. Actually it is moving because it's moving that way though. That's why I said we don't want cheap China crap. You Americans, you the ones gonna suffer, pay the price of Trump's tariff war, and blah 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 blah. Like, I don't want that shit. I want American shit. If I should have looked before I even ordered it.
With 4 or fewer units, she would likely, and anyone, not just James, but the property owner would likely get a better rate than if you were to take out a policy on the property for 5 or more units. See, 4 or fewer, typically you can own or occupy a 4 or fewer unit building. Okay, this comes under federal guidelines, and 5 or more would be considered an investment property. So you would get investment property rates, not only on
Yeah,
the
like this one. Yeah, it's like this got 6 units, but
but also insurance. So if you lie and say that your 5 unit is a 4 unit, you get better rates maybe, but you also may be committing insurance fraud. Now, speaking of fraud, Sam Antar has been at the forefront of these investigations into Letitia James, and he also has in his own background convictions for, I believe, financial related crimes. And so this has turned him into something of an expert and kind of a vigilante against these kinds of crimes. He recently did an interview talking all about this Letitia James situation. Let's take a look. All right.
Orthopedic expert recommendations. Cervical traction pillow. Developed by more than 30
Let's take a look.
All right, we have a great guest tonight. Sam Antar is a forensic accountant who has a very colorful past we'll dig into here in a bit. He is the man that dug all of this up on Letitia James. He's the source of all this information. Sam, thank you so much for joining us here on the set.
Thank you for having me on, sir.
You're a New Yorker. You live right down the street, and this is some fantastic work here. I want to start and get into the specifics first. Starting with this Virginia property that she claimed as her primary residence while she was, I mean, this is Norfolk, Virginia. This is probably a 5-6 hour drive, claiming it's her primary residence while she's the AG of New York. From your report, you say James signed a specific power of attorney declaring her intent to make 604 Sterling Street in Norfolk, Virginia, her principal residence, a legally binding statement that may have automatically vacated her position as New York Attorney General under Public Officers Law 30. A declaration that came just 45 days before she launched her case, her civil fraud case against Donald Trump. Tell us more about what happened in Virginia here.
She purchased a property with a relative. This is in 2023.
I mean, 1983. Yeah, he was same video, but I saw it like 3 days ago or something like that. Maybe last week. Might have been last week. Yeah, 3 days ago. Sometime last week. That's why I got that info about 1983, the house she bought in Queens.
Right, yeah. She closed on it right before the Trump trial. And in the file documents with the county clerk's office, there's a power of attorney that she gave her cousin or niece to close the mortgage. Yep. And on the power of attorney, she represents that I intend to use this property as my primary residence. Now, there's two problems with that. The first problem is she lied on a power of attorney. Would anybody really believe that she's going to move to Virginia in the middle of the Trump trial? Second part is there's section 6 of the mortgage that states that the borrower, meaning her and her niece, have to occupy the property as their primary residence within 60 days. Not one or the other, both. Wow. She never. She at least
flat
never
out fraud.
occupied it. Right. That's
And what was the motivation to do this? Why lie?
lower interest rates.
Lower interest rates.
I'd call her a petty thief.
A petty thief. This is, I mean, this is, when you look at the allegations she made against Trump, is this act worse, better, same?
Well, no. Listen, Trump is not a real felon. I'm a real felon. Okay, so so Trump didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. You don't see anything wrong in the case you made against Trump. You say, I mean, obviously, the jury here thought that he did something wrong.
Well,
It seems like what every developer has ever done.
Listen to the appellate arguments because the appellate judges seem to be it seems like they're going to write an opinion that's going to vacate the entire case.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's because, I mean, obviously we were all astounded by what they charged him for. That penalty was ridiculous. I want to move on here. Let's talk about Brooklyn, New York. This is her actual main residence. She walked out of this house this morning, a townhouse she owns. It's a multifamily home. She discovered James has been claiming that her townhouse is a 4-unit dwelling when it actually has 5 units. Why would she do this?
To obtain lower mortgage rates. Again, if 1 to 4 units has different underwriting guidelines, and also insurance too, by the way, insurance fraud. Whereas if it's 5 or more units, it's considered a commercial property and also subject to different insurance guidelines.
Right.
She's repeatedly lied because there's a certificate of occupancy that states that it's 5 units. And in New York, that rules. And it's unbelievable that that complaints were filed with the Department of Buildings, and they wrote it off as a minor problem, minor error. Where every other landlord in New York, if you pull that stunt, illegal conversion, having a building that's different from the certificate of occupancy, they will fine you. They will make you alter the building.
She's flat out lying on these documents. She didn't deny anything about it. 1983, she takes out a $30,000 loan with her dad. She files it as a husband and wife. She's married to her father. Why?
First of all, that was discovered by Joe Gilbert, not me. I don't want to take credit for anybody's work.
Okay.
All right, that was 1983. What we found was that she bought the house as daughter and mother, father and daughter, and then she, when they did the mortgage, it was husband and wife. Also, you get different underwriting as husband and wife than as you buy it as partners or 2 family members.
We have.
And now this is different from the Brooklyn home. This is a different property. I think it was in Queens.
Yeah, in Queens. Yeah, it was a long time ago. This is 41 years ago, 42 years ago. We have allegations of flying private on taxpayer money, almost $42,000 to places like Martha's Vineyard, Puerto Rico. We have luxury hotels.
Yeah, but anyway, like I said, yeah, and then she's talking about she's not scared. She right now, probably today, she's doing another press conference. These allegations. Trump we were going to stand up to Trump. It's like this bitch is crazy. These people are seriously crazy. I don't get it. Matter of fact, I wonder if she said something today or any time. Retaliation.
Full service delivery and load gives your move the white glove treatment.
New York Attorney General Letitia James is denying new federal allegations that she misled lenders to get better mortgage terms, calling them politically motivated.
Let me just say to all New Yorkers and to all Americans, the allegations are baseless.
The claims come from a referral sent by the Federal Housing Finance Agency to U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. The document accuses James of falsifying property records in both New York and Virginia. Federal officials say she listed a Norfolk, Virginia home as her primary residence in 2023, while still serving full-time as Attorney General in New York. They also allege that in previous years, she identified her father as her spouse on mortgage applications to qualify for better loan terms. Another allegation centers on her Brooklyn property, which she allegedly listed as having 4 units, despite city records showing 5. Federal prosecutors have not filed any charges so far. The referral is not a formal indictment, but could prompt a federal review.
That's the thing we're all talking about. Why is it taking so long? What are they doing? You know, I don't know. You cross all the T's and dot all the I's, but does it really take that long? Y'all need to start multitasking. But anyway, yeah, about I'm out here.